On February 28th, British Airways parent company IAG released its reporting for the 2024 financial year. While its annual report covers all members of the airline group, including Iberia, Aer Lingus and Vueling, today's video will solely focus on British Airways. It appears to have been a decent year for the One World carrier, so let's take a look at the details in today's video. Getting right to the numbers, British Airways earned a total revenue of £14.4 billion. At the time of making this video, £1 British pound roughly equates to $1.26 US. From this £14.4 billion of revenue, £13.466 billion was through passenger operations, while just £789 million was earned through cargo. Other revenue accounted for £153 million. When it comes to expenses, it's interesting to see that supplier costs were the largest category of expenditure for the airline, at £4.68 billion. Fuel costs and emission charges was the second largest at £3.68 billion, and employee costs for the year were £2.87 billion. Adding up all British Airways specific expenses in 2024 totals about £12.36 billion. This sees the carrier declaring an operating profit of £2.05 billion, a fairly healthy operating margin of 14.2%. Even more impressive is the fact that this is significantly up from its 2023 operating profit of £1.34 billion, an increase of over 50%. In terms of operational performance and metrics, British Airways carried nearly 45.2 million passengers in 2024, an increase of 6.6% from 2023. The airline had over 149 billion revenue passenger kilometres for the year and over 175 billion available seat kilometres. Its overall passenger load factor was 85.2%. IAG reports that British Airways significantly improved its operational performance in 2024, increasing its on-time performance by 12 percentage points. The group says that this was achieved through major investments in disruption management, including the implementation of the Heathrow operating model as well as the introduction of software and IT tools such as Pathfinder and Mission Control. Such tools were able to support better data-driven decision-making. IAG notes that it was able to achieve this increase in on-time performance despite a number of challenges, including aircraft availability. In this respect, the report singles out British Airways' 787 fleet. According to CH Aviation, British Airways is still expecting 7 Boeing 787-10s. IAG says that the wider operating environment remains difficult, with ATC restrictions doubling at Heathrow during the year. The report goes on to say that British Airways is the market leader to North America from London. Dubbed as a quote-unquote highly valuable and mainly point-to-point market, IAG says that British Airways has a particular focus on the premium segment of this market and that by the end of 2025, British Airways will be the only airline flying a first-class cabin across the Atlantic from London. If you haven't yet seen our video summarising the various airline options to fly between London and New York, be sure to check it out later. In terms of routing and operational changes for 2024, British Airways continued to broaden its network, including additional frequencies to destinations as San Diego and consolidation of Cincinnati as a new destination. Flights to Rio de Janeiro and Buenos Aires became daily services, and the airline's dedicated Sao Paulo flight got a larger aircraft. Flights to Barbados were all consolidated to Heathrow to allow premium capacity to grow from the winter. This year, the carrier will add further additional frequencies across the network, including more flights to Washington, Austin, Las Vegas, and Vancouver. Pittsburgh will be served by a daily flight. This year, British Airways will have reduced frequency to Santiago de Chile and a reduction of some tag flights in the Caribbean, Aruba, and Trinidad, to be more specific. British Airways is clearly seeing that catering to premium customers is the path to profitability. The airline boasts that it now has 66% of its Heathrow-based long-haul fleet fitted with its Club Suite product. It goes on to confirm that at the end of 2025, it'll start to retrofit its A380 aircraft with the new First Suite, another topic that we've already discussed in a previous video on our main channel. Going further with British Airways premium investments, the airline reports having invested in its lounges at Edinburgh, Lagos, Washington and Gatwick over the course of 2024, and this is a trend that'll continue in 2025 with lounge investments made at its airport facilities in Singapore, Seattle, Miami and Dubai. While there is a focus on premium clientele, BA's parent company IAG is remaining cautiously optimistic about this market segment and is indeed making a separation between business travel and premium leisure travel. The multinational firm warned in its reporting that it does not expect business travel ever to return to pre-pandemic levels, as high-spending leisure passengers helped it achieve solid profits. The report states, "We estimate that corporate travel will not fully recover to pre-COVID-19 levels, particularly for short-duration and short-haul trips." When it comes to loyalty operations, Skift highlights that the airline didn't see too much backlash to its program changes. Well, not enough to change travel patterns. As the media outlet notes, 2024 started with a controversial shift to a spend-based model at British Airways' Avios loyalty program. Sparking public backlash, the airline reversed some of the changes it was hoping to roll out. The reversal meant that frequent travellers were still able to qualify for bronze or silver tier status by taking 25 and 50 flights respectively. Announcing its backtrack, the airline stated, "We've heard that our members wanted more clarity, certainty and reassurance, so we found a way to reintroduce earning by sector for flights with a BA flight number to support members who use British Airways flights to commute." When asked about how changes to its loyalty program has impacted earnings, Sean Doyle, British Airways CEO, said no changes in travel patterns were reported since the overhaul was announced, saying, "I think we've been communicating exactly how the program works, and I think more people are learning about the spend-based earn program and the additional ways they can earn tier points. I think more positive news is being received." Despite the backlash experienced in 2024, British Airways is simply following the wider industry trend of moving towards spend-based models. But finally, we should note that we'll save the fleet overview for a separate video, but we can report here that IAG reported investing in larger aircraft that support lower unit costs. At British Airways, this has meant replacing the A319 fleet with A320s and A321s. British Airways is also continuing to change its overall fleet mix as large long-haul aircraft like the A350-1000 and 787-10 are delivered. So, what do you think about British Airways' financial and operational performance in 2024? We know that many travellers have complained about the decline of this airline over the years, but do you think this is changing with investments in cabin products and lounges? Could BA be making a glorious comeback? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.